Coming to the coup, the 1980 coup.
Yes, ma'am.
Before it took place, you went to visit Podia,
Yes.
who you knew.
Yes.
And then he mentioned that there was going to be a coup in Liberia.
Yes.
Did he tell you anything much about the coup?
Nothing
How it
else.
would have been implemented, who was supporting it?
No.
Or he just mentioned it?
He just said, my pikin, and you been selling power paper and moja paper? I said, yeah. He said, the people you have been fighting, we will bring them down in 1 week's time. And I didn't consider it to be any serious threat because I could not imagine how they were going to do it. But he was a soldier, you know, so he knew better what plans he had. I didn't probe him any further, you know, because it didn't mean much to me. I thought it was a bluff.
There was something in
right. Until I heard the firing that night, I woke up and I said, oh, this boy was saying the truth.
Okay. After the coup took place, did you ever meet Podia again?
Yes, but from a distance. I was more close to Nelson too, because I work at Hotel Africa in the front office.
Okay, in being close to Nelson too, was there any time in which you people discussed the coup, who were the one that encouraged them to do this coup, and how it was implemented, who supported it, and all of those things?
No. Nelson Too and I, we were age group, and we were drinking beer and looking for girls. We didn't have anything discussion more than that. I didn't want to get into the military matter. At that time, I had not taken training. I was just a civilian, you know, until when the TRC broke down and Coup went to Freetown, and then family recruited me and took me to Coup, and Coup put me in training.
But in all your political life, is there any theory of the coup that you've come across that you have tended to believe that you can share with us?
Theory of coup?
The 1980 coup, how it came about, who did it, how Doe became head, the strong man, why he became strong man.
Well, first, the coup came against the background. You know, I will say something here today, and most of it is like legend, because I don't have facts to prove this, but it has been discussed quietly in circles. It has to do with the relationship between the Tobo family and the Americans. When the legend is, and I say legend because I don't want anybody taking me to court on this. The legend is, when Tubman was sick, President Tubman, and decided to go for some kind of, to do a procedure, some kind of surgery. I don't know if it were prostrate or whatever. There was a Liberian doctor or nurse, I don't know his name, but he might have probably worked for Lanco, who accompanied Tubman. The doctor, according to the theory, was paid by Tubman's brother Stephen Tubman to take care of Tubman. And I understand that Tubman bled to death, and the procedure he took was not such that he would have bled to death. But somebody must have done some foul play. And as the theory goes, the doctor then sent a telex when Tubman died to Stephen Tubman, and excuse my language, because I'm sitting before the Liberian people, I have to use the exact words of the telex. The telex said to Stephen, the OS is dead. That telex was intercepted. At that time, the US ambassador at the time was a black guy called Westerfield. Westerfield then called the chief of staff when he received the death news of Tubman and said, you, the natives of this country, have been wanting to take over your country. Tubman is dead. You are the chief of staff. Take a few installations, we will support you. And then, you'll take your country over, it will be a bloodless coup. You ain't got to kill nobody. Cobert Johnson got afraid and spoke on Loma to the effect that this one is too heavy for me. Guluwani Kanao. He didn't just stop there, he told Steve Tolbert about what he and Ambassador Westerfield discussed. Steve Tolbert one day was going to see the president as the newly appointed finance minister when Tolbert took over, and met Ambassador Westerfield at the elevator. Both of them jumped in the elevator, and as Steve was talking, the ambassador was saying something, and again, I will use the exact words they said Stephen said to the ambassador. He told the ambassador, the United States ambassador, to shut the fuck up. The ambassador went upstairs, told the president apologized, and so there was some little friction. A few months later, the finance minister, Stephen Tolbert, called a party and invited the US ambassador. That night, the lady who was with the US ambassador was Grace Manor. The ambassador went home and died around 4-5, according to the legend. So, that problem has been there between, after the death of the ambassador, I think Steve started going after the businesses of the Americans. He wanted Lutraco, he wanted Vampla, he wanted everything. Steve Tolbert was trying to elevate himself from the subservient role the American class had played, and he was challenging the Americans in a way that was not comfortable. He became a difficult partner. So then, that is the theory to the coup. So it was logical. If the theory is Steve Tolbert succeeded in killing a US ambassador, then of course the US was supposed to get back to them in some way, form, or shape. The US military mission was then training the army of Liberia, which Tolbert didn't control. That army made a coup. So the evidence there is circumstantial. There's no way the US military mission will be training an army, is making a coup, and they don't know. It is impossible. But to say that there were Caucasian hands that killed Tolbert, I can't vouch for that. But those were the historical circumstances at the time that prevailed. Like I said, this is a legend. It may not be true, but I've heard it from so many different directions. And it has impacted on our national politics and our entire nation. What I saw between members of the US military mission and the PRC itself was that after the coup, they came to celebrate at Salsa Disco. And I sat right with them and I listened to some of the conversations. They were very happy, But let me tell you something else that happened that worried me about the PRC. One night, Podia and Afreze, a group of PRC guys came to the hotel and they wanted rooms. So the front office guy there said, oh, those of you who are not members of the PRC, the front office manager, Comfort Lawrence, would not allow us to give you a room. And I think they got upset about that. So Podia came down and said, who is the front office manager? He said, Comfort Lawrence. Where is she? She's not here. Okay. Falavani, yes, go and get Comfort Lawrence for me. Falavani went to Comfort Lawrence's house, probably in Pinsville somewhere. Maybe 30 to 45 minutes later, he came back, and we looked in the car, there was no Comfort Lawrence. So Podia said, well, I told you to bring the woman, what are you doing? Why you didn't bring her? And Falavani laughed. He said, Chief Comfort Lawrence is here with us. He popped the trunk open, and there was the front office manager of Hotel Africa, Comfort Lawrence. And it was kind of weird to me. And I started having second thought, given my own political background, that if these guys came to liberate the Liberian people, how come they putting our front office manager in the trunk of a car to bring her to the Hotel Africa to answer a question? So Famula was at the Ministry of Education, and he asked me whether I wanted to come and work there, and I told him I was not interested because I saw signs that didn't look good to me. Comfort Lawrence was not the best of my friend, but you don't take the front office manager of one of the best hotels in your country and put her in a car trunk and travel with her from Pinsville to Hotel Africa. Nobody told me this story about Comfort Lawrence. I was working there as a bell boy. A bell boy who works in the front office is the guy when the guests come in and register, you take their loads to the elevator and they tip you some small money. So I was probably the lowest person in there. But I had a political sense and I had an intellect that nobody suspected. I was taking notes and looking at things and reading things, and people didn't think I was doing that. Well, I wasn't talking to nobody about it.